Thompson.
Join me, Stephen Dello, every Monday at 4:15 as we chat all things property, investment and leadership. Hear from the experts aimed at landlords, tenants and business leaders and get inspired on your own investment or career journey. Property Matters, Mondays at 4:15 here on Planet FM or download from your favourite podcast site.
Property Matters.
Welcome along to another Monday and to Property Matters. Great to have you here if you're tuning in live on Planet FM, or a big thank you if you're downloading our podcasts, which you can find on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple and Samsung and YouTube. Now, I am delighted to welcome Lucia Xiao here today, who is a fabulous financial freedom guru, I'm going to call her. That, no pressure, Lucia. But you've produced books, you've had a career in the investment space, both here in New Zealand and in Australia, So I'm really excited to unpack your journey over the next little while. But before we talk about your current role and your book, take us right back. You've left high school. What on earth made you start this sort of career journey? Talk to us about the early years.
I actually came to New Zealand last century.
Okay. Love that.
It's kind of like 27 years ago, yeah, which is quite amazing, yeah. And then later on, I kind of like went into the bank. So there was it was kind of like I had to overcome my misbelief, because at that time I didn't think that my English was good enough to get in there. And luckily that my husband's grandmom kind of gave me the courage, made me realizing that I need to give it a go. Yeah,
that's nice.
So, at early stage, it was really, really hard, being a migrant here and not knowing what to do. And I sent out probably over 30 CVs and I didn't get any response, and not even a simple reply and say you are declined or something, nothing. Yeah. But, after her encouragement, because basically because I say, it's quite interesting, because only many years later you realize that she's my first mentor in life, because she knew I was looking for work. She didn't ask me Lucia, what are you looking for? She actually asked me what would I want to do? And I say, well, I always wanted to work in a bank, but I actually don't think that my English is actually good enough to actually work in a bank. And she looked into my eyes and she said, Lucia, your English is fine. I understand you. So come back home. I sent out 2 CVs, ASB and ANZ. And very soon I got a telephone interview and I was fine. And then I was invited to the head office to do a math test. And you could imagine for a Chinese math test, there's nothing. Right, yeah. So passed that, yeah. And then I landed a job working in the bank as a teller.
Do you think it's that early banking career that got you excited about money and investment?
Absolutely, yeah. Because now you're actually in an environment that, my colleagues, day in and day out, they're actually in a position to helping those first-home buyers, buying the property. They understand how mortgage works, yeah. And so I was so lucky, working in that environment, having the right people surrounding with me. And I think along the way, all those property investments, and it's because I had really deep understanding of that, the finance, how finance work, how to leverage it, what's good, what's bad. And that's actually able to actually keep pushing me forward. Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about the right people supporting you, because that's something that's travelled through everything I've read about you, is having the right people around you. You talk in your promotions around, a journey from state housing to being a property investor. Do you want your journey to inspire others? Is that one of your goals?
Absolutely, yeah. Because obviously at that time we could just, stay comfortable in the benefit, because New Zealand government is so amazing that you're having this welfare system, which is not available in China. But I think a lot of people, they need that encouragement, because I do encouragement. I had a customer that, they were sitting in the seniors benefit and was, I was able to encourage them to get out of that benefit and then just, pursue, what I wanted in life, So I think that's a huge difference, you shouldn't just, stay comfortable there,
When I read about you, I discover you've got a few strings to your bow. You're a property investment mentor or a coach. You're a mortgage broker. You're a published author. So let's start with the mentoring and the coaching. When should an investor or a potential investor reach out for mentoring?
I think I'm pretty happy to kind of provide some sort of like a free consultation and things like that. Yeah. And ultimately, as well as the customer choosing me, I'm also choosing the clients as well. Yeah, because kind of in the, you kind of in the life state, semi-retired, you want to actually work with the right people. Yeah. So lucky now that, we had quite a lot of people that, they are really coachable, they are motivated, they listen to what you are saying, they recognize that, they actually need that support there. Yeah. So it has been a pleasure, working with, this group of people. Yeah.
So could anybody come to you for mentoring, or should you be in a certain stage of your investment journey? Quite interesting. I think over 50%, probably 55% of our clients are actually first-home buyers. So those are the group of people, they're not just buying the home, and they're not just that, I'm just going to buy a home. They actually wanted to actually using the buying the home, their opportunity to actually help them to actually build their assets and create the wealth. Yeah. So that's actually the group of people that, I'm kind of looking for. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay, I wouldn't have picked that. So what does a typical mentoring session look like between you and the client? Can you tell me a little bit more about that journey?
So usually, if they come on board, we do a one-on-one strategy session. Yeah, and by the stage, they already kind of meet with our mortgage advisor, and they were already helping them to actually understand what's their budgets. Yeah, because we need to know what's their budget. Yeah. And then during the one-on-one strategy session, then I getting to understand that whether or not they actually have some special needs, like school zones or the preference of, which suburb they want to live and things like that. And then from there, we actually kind of started narrow down, what are the suburbs you're looking at based on your budget, based on your requirements and everything. Yeah. And then I will show them the tools that they can use, and also how to actually doing the analyze on the property and things like that. And then I let my customer to go out there and started doing their own, research, the search and research, yeah. And at any time, they can always call me up or, come back to me, run another session again, just to understand, out of those properties, why they are properties I will say no, and, why they are not good, yeah. So I think lately we had a client was telling me that, she actually sends through 66 properties, yeah, and literally only 4 properties. I say, well, you can actually go further with more due diligence. So they actually literally saving our clients a lot of time and money, yeah.
What are you looking for to determine that property is a good one for an investor?
Ultimately, it's they need to have in a position that, allows our customer to add value to it, yeah. So, if you want to do the, using the property as a tool to actually help you to build your wealth, ultimately, that you need to buy well. Yeah, you have to buy well, yeah. And then also, you are able to add value to it. Yeah, so those are very important things. Yeah. And obviously, there are things that, no flood zone, your flood plan, so that they are a no, or if the contour is if the slope, or, there are things that I will share with my customer, the frontage, underground services, so there are a number of that we have checklists, helping customer to understand all those ones. Mm-hmm.
So if someone's coming to you for a mentoring session, what should they prepare before they come? Right? What do you or your mortgage team need in advance?
Yeah. So my business partner, they will be taking care of the on the mortgage side. Yeah. Usually it will be it might be customer just say, hi Lucia, I'm interested in this. I get in a call, I do a Zoom session with them first, yeah, and then pass on to the mortgage team to actually handling the understanding where their budget sits and everything, yeah. and then come back to me, which is kind of like just a study process.
So should they be doing their budgets before they meet your mortgage person, getting financial material together for you?
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, yeah. But sometimes the customer might be in a position and they are unsure like where they at and things like that. Yeah, I'm always happy to actually kind of give them because we do have a customer come on board and then they are not ready like 3 years later. Yeah,
right.
And they're still good because at least they know what directions they're heading. Yeah. We do have a number of clients that when they come on board, they have a huge personal loan, like things like that. And obviously, that's very obvious. You need to pay that down. You have to pay that off first. Yeah, you have to clean up your other debts before you can save up before you actually got your 5% deposit ready.
So it's a bit like getting a health check done before you apply.
Right.
Tell us about some of your success stories for you or for your clients that you've helped through your mentoring.
Lots of them. Yeah, I think there's one. There's one I can share is was it 2000? Maybe it's 2017. Late 2017. I think I took a first-home buyer out to Mount Wellington, but it's kind of like between Mount Wellington and Otahu, so it's the kind of South Mount Wellington, okay. So it's not very desirable place, but being a first-home buyer, so obviously they got a really limited deposit. I mean, relative like budget that they can go for, And this house is run down, has been vacant for a year. The hot water cylinder has been stolen. The hose on the floors and everything, So I walk in there, and I think my first-home buyer clients called David. He just like, Lucia, no way I'm going to buy this. So he didn't ended up buying it. So I ended up buying it. So I went to the auction. I went to the auction. And I bought it for $650,000. And that one, I think 5 years later, 2022 September, we sold it for $1.5 million.
Wow!
So all we did was we done a renovation, tidy up because we had to rent it out. There's only like $15,000 just tidy up. Because you need to have a good team, the good builders, and they don't charging you lots of money. So we tidied it up, and then we because it's a full site, it's so you always want to buy something that has a great land value. And I think other customer, we had lots of amazing story. We had a client is graduate, university graduate, and so he actually attended because I used to run the like offline, in person, property events. So he attended event twice. Because being participating in the programs, it does require you to actually have some upfront, money available. So he actually come to the payment plan, 6 payments. He told me that it's really hard because it was like over 50% of his income actually had to pay this payment plan. 6 months later. At the time, we kind of, assessing his situation. We think that he's not in the position for another 3 years. But 18 months later, he was able to actually purchasing his first home at Mangere. And that one, it's a smaller house, so we were able to actually now helping him to actually working on building a big house, which is like 2 stories, 5-bedroom double garage, so it's working through the consent right now. You have to understand that, from him it's really tough, because his mom and dad has been renting for like 25, 30 years, And they never come across their mind that they need to own the house, So when he was buying his first house, he's got no support at all.
Right.
So ultimately it was just his really, his salary is only $55,000. You had to understand that it's so hard for him. But he actually said to me, it's so great that because the payment plan was helping him to having that saving habits. So he just continued to say, even like a...
And was the payment plan working towards a deposit, or was the payment plan clearing his debts?
To my program, So it's a 6 months payment plan he participating. And then once you finish that payment plan, he was just continue to saving to his deposit.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a great story, for...
He built good habits.
Yes, yeah.
When you hear stories like that, are there certain tips and tricks that you would give to somebody who's like, how do I clear my debts? Someone perhaps investing a little bit later in life and they've got all the credit cards and the loans and the car. Is there some tricks to getting rid of that as quick as possible?
Ultimately, it's just like you just need to have a determination. Yeah. And, obviously we got we have like, I think like probably a few months ago, we help a first home buyer in their 50s to settling in the first house. So in the past, they just didn't think that's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had to overcome a lot of disbelief that they have over all those years. Yeah.
That must bring you lots of joy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I love to work with these title people. Yeah. Obviously, they are title people that knows everything. And say, okay, if you know everything, I don't think you need my help.
No. So what do you think are some of the biggest challenges people face in today's market when it comes to investing in property?
I guess it's the hardest one is actually people being able to manage their emotion. And I think that's the hardest one. Because there are times there are times you have to be cautious, but there are times you need to be greedy. But I think people very often majority of people get it wrong.
So that's your job to mentor them through it. Okay. You promote investing in Auckland quite a bit on your promotions and website.
Yeah.
Why do you see Auckland as such a good investment hub?
I think because, Auckland has 1/3 of the population. So people actually choose to actually come and stay in Auckland. I'm aware of that, lately in the past few years, I think the Queenstown is doing quite well.
In the Otago Lakes area.
Yes. But I still believe that because the majority of the population is in Auckland, and if you knowing what to do, you can still do quite well. So just just follow the strategy we're teaching you. They always buy well. Always being able to find a way to add value to it, and you can actually still doing quite well in property,
Is everybody coachable?
No.
What are the barriers that stop someone from being coached?
I guess as I say, there are people that believe they knows everything. So how can I coach people? If their water is already full.
They've got to come in with an open mind.
They do. They do.
Okay.
Yes.
So if I turn now to your new book, Financial Freedom, 5 Steps, 5 Years, you talk about assembling a team of professionals to add value to your property really fast. Can you talk me through what do you mean by that?
I think obviously in property they are it's quite different from other title investment. Because in property a lot of times you are in a position had to add value. And maybe I can use an example because 2-3 years ago when I went to Sydney, I didn't know anyone. All I had was the experience and knowledge I have, from New Zealand. So I brought that knowledge there. The first things I know that I had to get to the right people. So I bought a property, and it was quite a good bargain because after I bought a property, literally the agent in the area, they all know about me. I mean, they all wanted to know me or they know about me. Or they were just tracing me down. Who is this person? Because it was, literally you should have probably sold it for 2.5, but I only paid 2.05. And done the renovation and the value is probably nearly double, just after 2-3 years. And along the way, obviously, it's very important is you need to find the good teams able to actually helping you to do a renovation because the structure and, a renovation and things like that. So I actually interviewed maybe 7 groups of the builders.
Okay.
So I know what I'm looking for. Because they are builders. They can really black and white. They can take your instruction. If you said doing this, they're doing this. Okay. And I think they are, they are also the builder that can be very expensive. So obviously you don't want to actually go into that as well. And also you want to find someone that, although they're the builder, but they actually have a very good concept of understanding on the design, the layout, how you actually change the layout to actually make it more appealing, to, the others. So you can actually increase in the value. So it's actually took me a while because the house was sitting vacant. So, to actually able to actually find this particular builder that able to actually, not only have a, very solid, construction background, but also have very good understanding in the architecture designing side. and also very good for, value for money. They are not going to throw you a big bill, So that's ultimately is what I'm after. Yeah. So ultimately I kind of have built a team there. Yeah. So I think everyone can do the same, because I do have a customer came to me, they're from Wellington or Christchurch or something. And I say, well, I can teach what I know, and I can also show you how you're going to get to these people. Yeah.
Apart from the builder, are there any other key people that you should have in your
certainly.
group?
Yeah, certainly. Because in Australia, I'm a mortgage broker as well, because I got really solid background in how to source the funds, and so that's actually adds a lot of value. So I don't need to go out there to find a good mortgage broker in Australia. But again, you also need a very good solicitor accountant. Yeah, very important. Yeah, I think with the solicitor now, you probably got a Google Gemini that you can actually kind of do the early stage of the due diligence. And then just like if you decided to go ahead, obviously you still need your solicitor to double check.
Okay. And when you talk about 5 steps and 5 years, how many investment properties could one own in that period of time? And what do you see as the key to success here?
It's I guess everyone kind of might be different. I used to probably at one time I could have in my hand, I don't know, maybe have a dozen or 12, 14 or whatever. Yeah. But ultimately you probably wanted to kind of having something is more quality in your, because I sold quite a lot in the, I probably catch up close to 10 million, in 2022, 2023, just before the election.
Wow.
So kind of cash up a bit, but you kind of reinvest, some, and as well as in Sydney as well. Yeah. So ultimately you can always just keep refine your portfolio. Yeah. Because before the things might work well, not necessarily they're going to continue to actually performing well. Yeah. So you had to just keep, refining it. Yeah.
How much does the current market sort of play or potentially interfere when it comes to investing?
Right now, the market is I personally feel if I comparing the Australia and New Zealand, I think now the New Zealand is actually heading into we are actually in the recovery. Yeah, so it's a really good market to actually come back to the New Zealand market. Yeah. Australia is probably already at the peak or close to the peak. Yeah.
Right.
And also it's really good, if you are the, holding the Australia assets, it's a really good time, because now the New Zealand dollar is 82 cents compared to when I was buying the Sydney property, I think it was 95 cents.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I think now is also you kind of is able to win, having the game from the exchange rate as well. Yeah.
My daughter's in Australia at the moment. We're trying to pay her student fees, and we've noticed that shift is not the same when you're not investing. But I'll pretend we've got to remember we're investing in her education.
Yeah.
Do you still see property as a key place to invest, or do you diversify and have shares or stocks or other things that you invest
I do.
in?
I personally feel like the golden era of the property investment has ended. Yeah. It's not like 20, 30 years ago you can easily buy anything. It goes up in value because of inflation. Yeah. And I think moving forward, I think we're going to see the performance on the property, generally speaking, is probably not going to be too great. Yeah. Because we're seeing a more surprise coming in, the AI, the new technology and everything.
Right.
Yeah. So I think you do have to be, you can still do well, because ultimately it's still quite an individual property. Yeah, okay, you can still do well, but it does require you to actually have a more knowledge, and to actually investing in the property market. Yeah.
Okay. Who do you think should pick up your book? Who would you like to be inspired by your book?
I guess it's everyone. Yeah.
Who do you think benefits most? Is it someone starting out on this journey, or someone that needs a bit of a tidy up?
Absolutely. I think that for someone to start a journey, it's going to give them a lot of inspiration, let them understand that, they can do it. Yeah, because if it's I can, coming from the housing museum background, trying to managing $170 a week after we pay the rent, just managing for 4 of us. Yeah. And I do believe that a lot of people probably in a much better, financial position than I was. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's certainly a book, to get an encouragement. Yeah. Mm.
Was this your first time as an author?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah?
So I'm hoping to actually do another one because obviously a
Great.
lot had changed now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
Kind of need to keep it updated and
That's
keep it
right.
fresh.
Yes.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
did you find the process of writing your thoughts down into a book, editing it, publishing it, etc.? What was the biggest challenge there?
Okay. I think always wanted to write a book because the reason being is when I was buying my first home, being a Chinese is very easy because it's in our blood. Everywhere you go, you want to settle, you want to buy a home, right? Okay. But it's really difficult for my Kiwi husband, because for him was like, oh my God, it's such big debt I'm going to take on. He was really stressed out. And I felt like I really want to go up there and then just encourage people to do it. Yeah, because on your home, it really provides you a lot of security, the safety, the certainty, and as well as the building your wealth. Yeah, okay. So that was the reason I always want to do it, yeah. And I think I eventually able to do it was, I remember that at the time I was traveling in Australia and I kind of having this because it's 2 hours difference. So I wake up so early in the morning. I was like, okay, I better do something then, yeah. So I'm using that additional 2 hours to actually write a book. And I think it only took me 2 weeks to actually, yeah. So finally did it.
So perhaps your next book needs the marriage counselling section. So that when, Chinese and European marry, it's like, how do we cope with that? Look, you're also a mortgage broker, both here and even more so in Australia. So I guess it's the complete package that you are providing. You're providing the advice, the mentoring, and then helping to secure the finance. Does that make it easier, not just for your clients you're mentoring, but for you, because you're getting to know your clients before you're submitting them to the bank for a mortgage?
Yes, you are right, yeah. Because obviously it's that trust, yeah, because we already kind of know the detail of the clients, their financial positions, yeah. Mm.
Do you work with just the major lenders or do you work with second-tier lenders as well? Like when do you decide I need to use a non-bank lender for somebody?
We're using quite a lot. It's just because in New Zealand, I think the major bank had lots of changes, probably after the COVID, in terms of their construction loan. Used to be that you can get 100% lending, and then later on they only kind of scale that back, yeah. So you do need to actually knowing what are the lender available. I think in New Zealand, total lenders, you're probably only looking at maybe 20 or 30. In Australia, is way over 100 lenders available.
Wow.
Yeah, they have all sorts, yeah.
And is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Oh, absolutely, it's good, yeah. But ultimately, reality is that we probably only just come down to using perhaps 6 to 10 lenders, because, and I think the non-bank lenders is so crucial because, while the, if you come into the construction side, a lot of banks, they want the pre-sale valuation, QS, yeah. But a lot of non-bank lenders, they just said, no, we not worry about it because their funders themselves, developer, they can actually sell value. They can actually, have their own valuation on the, the projects that you are doing and everything. Yeah. Mm.
What are some of the other differences you notice between New Zealand and Australia? What is the investment landscape like over the ditch? Is one country better than the other to invest in property in? Trick question.
Very, very tricky, yeah. I think ultimately because what I'm servicing is on the home buyers. So ultimately, if you are in Auckland, obviously you're buying the homes in Auckland, right? Yeah. I don't think you're actually thinking about. But from the investment point of view, there's probably not a lot of benefit for the New Zealander investing in Australia because you ultimately ended up being the overseas investor, because I understand that if you enter the country, you get this a 444, special visa, which is they treat it as a permanent resident. But ultimately, a lot of states, they had a requirement of that, that you need to stay there for a certain period of time, to avoiding the surcharge on the stamp duties and the surcharge, the land tax surcharge. Yeah, okay. So unless that you are someone kind of looking at like having that experience, living in Australia, then otherwise I probably wouldn't suggesting you to heading that way. Yeah, because it's just like too much tax. Yeah, unless like the capital growth is able to offset it. Otherwise, it's because Australia, you got so many tax. Like you had to pay stamp duty, you had to pay land tax. Land tax is ongoing and it's a percentage. Yeah. And as an overseas investor, because you are not in the country for a certain period of time, every year you also have to pay the land tax surcharge. Yeah, so it's very expensive. Yeah.
Right.
However, for Australians investing in New Zealand, a lot of benefit because basically like we treating them as a New Zealand citizen. There's no requirement they need to live in the country for a certain period of time and things like that. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So what does someone need to do to prepare to apply for a mortgage with you?
Are you talking about in Australia?
Here in New Zealand.
In New Zealand.
You work with partners that look after that? Do they need to prepare like 3 months worth of finances?
Absolutely. Yeah, just the standard process. Yeah. So usually I just pass on, having a quick chat with clients, pass on to the, mortgage advisors to work on their applications. Usually just the ID, your 3 months statement. Usually they got a system they can actually just automatically doing that rather than that you have to physically provide it. Yeah. So you probably know about it, yeah. Your pay slips, that the financial statements, that's it, yeah.
Okay. Do you have any top tips for first home buyers? What advice would you give to somebody thinking about buying their first home?
I think it's probably reaching out, just having a conversation, knowing like which way is you heading, because I can always give you a simple like a direction, which way you're heading. Yeah. So, like all those, young graduate, they're reaching out, I'm happy to always help them. Yeah.
And take the emotions out of it. By the sounds of it. Yeah. Take the emotions and find good people to support you. Back to you personally now. What are your own future goals? Where would you like to see yourself in the next few years? If I interview you back here in a few years' time, what will you be doing?
So currently, I'm selling my property in Sydney. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So I can easily sell it quite easily. But I think I kind of looking for a certain price point. Yeah. And then I want to transfer the money back because, as I said, it's 82 cents. Compared to when I exchanged the money over was 95 cents. Yeah. So that was pretty good. And then I got some developments. At Mount Wellington and also Buchan Beach, yeah. So a couple like it's going through the the consent process, sort of things like that. I think that's probably where I will be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you cope jetting between Sydney and Auckland? Like, do you do so many days in each city, or how often are you travelling between?
It's a bit unfortunate if you bought a property in Australia, like, in New South Wales, I think there's a requirement you have to live there for 200 days every year, otherwise to avoiding paying the overseas, the land tax surcharge, which is like you're looking at like 8 or 9% now, yeah, of the land value every year, yeah. So basically I base there most of the time, yeah, and then New Zealand and perhaps maybe China sometimes, yeah, because I just come back from China, yeah.
What's the investment space like in China?
It's brilliant.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Why?
it's brilliant. It's a very different market, and I think it's ultimately like they're very strong in manufacture. I think no one can compete with them. Yeah. Okay. And also like Chinese people, they're very they work very hard, and also they're very also intelligent people working there. Yeah. And because there are a lot of like hedge fund managers, they used to work in Wall Street, and now they're actually moving back to China. So they were helping to actually educate. I had to say like the people, the investors, they are more sophisticated. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because they understand the whole supply chain. So we talk about Apple, yeah, right? A lot of people probably buy the Apple share or something, but ultimately, like this group of investors, they look at the whole supply chain, yeah, and then they will actually, dig down to like which company actually provide that particularly parts or material, or even go down to the material. Yeah. So myself, I got some like magnesium, investing some into the magnesium, which is going nicely. On the return side. Obviously, they have their issue. There's a deflation there. The property market has been very depressing. They have a shrinking population as well. Yeah, so they have their issues. But I think because they're just under one government, so they are able to actually planning long term. They are able to actually. Planning 5, 10 years or 15 years,
so
ahead of time.
They're not impacted by a 3-year election cycle. Yeah. Do you see that, like elections coming up here in New Zealand this year, do you see that impact your investors?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because I think very often the investor will start just pause it, we don't know who is going to get in, what's going to happen. Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Interesting. What's going to be in your next book then?
I guess it's probably my picked up my what I talk about the investment I have I talk about in my first book Financial Freedom 5 Steps and 5 years, and then we'll be adding on more because we've been through the COVID and also investing in Australia. So I think it will be quite a lot I can talk about in business, personal, and also in the property investment and also investment world as well. Yeah. Yeah.
If somebody's nervous to start investing, what advice do you have for them? If someone's thinking, I've got a bit of money, I'm not sure whether I should do property or somewhere else, what's your advice?
Just probably be open-minded. Yeah, because obviously I'm not in a position to changing everybody's life, but ultimately it's themselves need to convince themselves. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean happy for those people to actually reaching out if they feel uncertain, if they need to kind of understand a bit more, at the macro, because macro is very important as well. Yeah. Yeah. Not just the property. You have to understand what's going on around you. Yeah.
Do you continue to buy investment properties yourself? Are you always looking for yourself as well? Because
now I'm kind of working on the development, got some development project to focus on that. Yeah, but I do have a number of clients that I am coaching and mentoring with. They are actually in the position to buy as well.
That's cool. That's cool. Who inspired you? You mentioned your family right at the beginning. Who else has inspired you?
My husband's grandmom. Yeah. So it's brilliant. At the time, obviously, you didn't realizing it, but afterwards, you realizing that. Yeah. And I think a lot of you can learn a lot from a lot of people. Just make sure that being open-minded. Yeah, because we might be very good in our own field, right? Yeah. So. Always had an interest, in anything. When you come across other people's, they are always something that you can learn from.
Use those experts. How can people get in touch with you, follow you, find out more, and get your books?
Yeah, so I got a website there, which is Finax, finax.co.nz. Yeah, so you can order the book there. Yeah, and from now on, we're posting the blog. Yeah, I'm also on LinkedIn as well. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So YouTube as well. Yeah. So feel welcome to follow me. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and coming into the studio today.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Yeah.
Appreciate it. We are going to take a few weeks break now as we let you all go and enjoy Easter and the school holidays and Anzac Day. We take our regular break and we will be back in studio from June. Don't fear though, you can jump onto Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple and Samsung podcasts or YouTube and download any of our Property Matters shows. If you've got someone or you'd like to come on yourself or you've got a burning question you'd like us to find someone to answer, email us propertymatters@barfoot.co.nz. If you're travelling home today, listening live, travel safe, have a fabulous week and a fabulous Easter, and we will catch you back in June. Take care.